Hello everybody, my name is Adi Suresh and this is my library scan retoping project for 3D scanning. So I took this small Stitch action figure and took it to our local library for them to scan, and then I was given the scan data of the OBJ file, the mesh, and the texture. So to start, I imported this file into Maya to sculpt and just make sure that there were no odd bumps on the mesh, to make sure that it was all smooth and the curves all worked out great. This took a little bit and I really enjoyed this section because I love working in Maya. So I experimented with the different tools such as the waxing, the sculpting, the relaxing, and the bulge tool to make sure that the model was smooth and that it could be UV'd properly when moving into Substance Painter. Next, I took the nicely sculpted OBJ file of Stitch from Maya and imported it into ZBrush. I had to then go through the steps of getting a low res OBJ as well as a high res OBJ and getting a image of the texture that is both original and flipped, as well as dividing and duplicating the OBJ to make sure that I have multiple of it, and so that I can get the different assets that I need into Substance Painter to make sure that it is strong for Painter to utilize. To ensure that I had the proper reference images I needed to make sure that the model was clean and the textures were going to be clean for Substance Painter, I decided to take 4 images of the Stitch model, of the original image that we scanned, the model itself. I took 4 angles of the Stitch image just to make sure that I have all the different sides of it. So then I took it into Photoshop and used the 1:1 ratio crop tool to get it as tight as I could. Then I exported each of the files as PNGs, labeled them in their respective profile names, and then exported it as a PNG and imported it as a resource texture into Substance Painter. That way, if after I imported the BPM bump model image, I can then use these images and when projecting. Once reaching Substance Painter, I imported the model from ZBrush, and you can see that it came out nicely. And the first step was to bake the map. So I baked the textures, and it didn't take much at all. I made sure that it was a 4K resolution, and I also imported the low model before baking it into, so that it has all the different subsurfaces that it could need to bake properly. From there, I created a new layer, imported the BMP file that I got from ZBrush, mapped it out to the best of my ability, and then from there I utilized the 4 images I took from Photoshop just to get the little crevices and the corners that the texture was not able to fill in. So slowly and meticulously I colored in as many spots as I could that I could find to match the original using the images that I took. And overall, I was really happy with this process. I know I have a lot of room to grow, but this is a great starting point for my skills in Substance Painter and ZBrush. Finally, After this long process and tedious process of coloring in the different spots was completed, I sent it to Substance Stager, where I was able to get some nice lighting on it and get the various textures that I needed. Thank you.